were eating donuts, and today, let them eat cake.
And in June, you'll be eating lots of wedding cake. Of course, it is the busiest month of the year for wedding bells. Joe Arnold is live this morning with a woman who is busy year-round. Joe, where are you?
We are at Mert's Cakes on Shelbyville Road. We were here once before, I think last year actually, with Virginia Rankin. Of course, they make great cakes here. What kind of a cake is this in front of us?
This is a chocolate praline cake.
A chocolate praline cake.
With white
See,
chocolate.
I might just get married just for this.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
We can do a groom's cake for you like this.
We're going to work. Oh, there are groom's cakes?
Absolutely.
I like this whole marriage idea. Also, Ramsey crafted for us from Nansen Crafts Florist. I know you have one bouquet in front of us here. Is this actually a bouquet that someone would carry or something like for a centerpiece?
This is a bouquet, and what we've done is have it in a vase, so it can be used at the reception.
See, once again, a guy is thinking because we're getting good value for our wedding. You have a double-use piece of flowers.
That's true. It works very well that way.
See, he's going to probably correct me after we're off the air here. We'll work on that. Well, thanks again, Ramsey. Stick around for, of course, next hour. Virginia, more cake coming up?
Absolutely.
Can we eat some?
Well, yes, of course.
We'll work on that. I'm Joe Arnold for Good Morning Kentuckiana. Good job.
Pours, and in the next month or so, there's going to be a pouring of weddings around Kentuckiana. This morning, a little live report that, well, it takes the cake. Joe Arnold live at Mert's Cakes in Middletown.
Ooh, that looks good. Right now, some stocks of local interest. And step by step, Joe Arnold's learning to put together the perfect wedding. It is a wedding show, folks. This morning, he's picking out the perfect cake and flowers. Stay tuned.
Hey girl, in your eyes, I see a picture of me all the time. Step in, girl.
625, 64 degrees, and here comes the bride.
Or should we say the groom? That's right. Joe Arnold's getting nervous all of a sudden. He joins us live from Mert's Cakes, where he's learning about wedding cakes and flowers. Joe?
Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Barry. Leave the singing to me, will you please, Barry?
Okay, sorry.
This, by the way, is a groom's cake, a chocolate and praline and some of that great icing. I'm going to see if I can. I think if you take one bite out of it, then they can't serve it to anybody else. Is that right?
Well,
yeah.
we can put a flower on it.
There you go. Virginia Rankin, by the way, is here with Mert's Cakes. Mert, by the way, was her grandmother, and her recipes for all the original cakes are here. But you, of course, have gone a lot further as far as decorating than your grandmother ever did.
Absolutely. She didn't do any decorated work. It was an interesting look she had.
Now, I'm curious, as far as wedding cakes are concerned, decorating is such a big part of it. Obviously, taste is very important for you, but how do you, like, for instance, like the frosting here, make it the consistency so it's decorated like that?
Well, it takes years to really work with it and get the product the way you need it to get that final look. And that's what I've done over the years. Started with a really good base recipe and just worked with it.
Tell me about the actual designs you have here for one we're doing right here, as well as I guess this is very similar to what you're doing as far as the wedding cake itself.
Yes, it is. And this will eventually be a tier, the top tier on a wedding cake. And I call this a pleated look. It's something I've kind of developed myself.
And flowers are on the cakes here, too, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and add a couple here.
I really like working with fresh flowers better, but naturally for the shoot this morning we've done silk flowers, and they're effective as well.
That's Virginia Rankin, by the way, from Mert's Cakes. Also with us, speaking of flowers, Ramsey Kraft from Nansen Crafts Florist. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Tell us about what you have here. We have some bouquets that actually double as table settings.
I've brought 3 bouquets that are actually hand bouquets, and they can be used after the wedding, at the reception, and placed in a vase and be used on the table. This is a handheld bouquet of roses, multicolored. I have sprayed them a little bit with water to keep them fresh during the morning. The second bouquet here is of calla lilies, and I'll dry it off a little bit so it doesn't present a problem, and that's a pretty bouquet that girls are using. It's one they can either carry and use on their arm as an arm bouquet.
You look lovely, by the way. Or hold it straight up.
Hold it straight up.
Can you show us some more next half hour?
Sure.
Well, the next half hour, by the way, once again, for more information for both Mert's Cakes and Nansen Craft, the number here at Mert's Cakes is 244-8399, and for Nansen Crafts Florist, it's 426-9911. Thanks again to Ramsey and to Virginia. More from both of them coming up next half hour here on Good Morning Kentuckiana. And congratulations.
April 18th was mine. So we're talking wedding dates.
Yes,
right now,
exactly.
right? Now, good. Now, do you remember yours? That's the question. Chris Phillips better remember, or he'll be in the doghouse for sure. I think his is in June,
I
though.
think it's coming up.
I think that's right. And keeping in wedding tradition, I proposed to Chris.
Ugh.
Yeah, I proposed that he give us a good forecast. That's coming up shortly.
And I propose that Joe be the best man. He's coming through with the cake and the flowers. What else could a girl ask for, huh?
Well, how about a ring?
Well, right now, a look at last night's winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.
How come there's no Grummel bouquet? And you can start your marriage on a roll by serving the perfect cake at your reception.
And don't forget the flowers. Joe Arnold will show us the most popular arrangements and cakes coming right up. Isn't that pretty? Look at that cake.
Good morning, Kentuckiana. I'm Joe Arnold, live from Mert's Cakes on Shelbyville Road, where I have some Nans and Crafts flowers with me. And these are actually some cakes that are even pre-frosted. We're going to be made into some great wedding cakes a little bit later on. We'll talk to her in a moment with Virginia Rakin from Mert's Cakes. In the meantime, though, Ramsey Kraft from Nans and Craft Florists. I am holding a combination bouquet and like a centerpiece, right?
Yes.
What are these here?
Well, those are calla lilies, and we have some bear grass mixed in with them for the greenery. And after the wedding, that can be used in a vase on the bride's table.
So we'll go ahead and put those back in if that's okay. We're going to reach for those. That way I can put these down. Otherwise, you know, you hold flowers for too long and it gives people the wrong impression, I think. Okay.
I thought you looked very good carrying them.
Not as good as you, though.
Okay.
That's quite a good look for you, actually. It even matches your... Look at this. A flower tie for Nans and Crafts. You planned ahead.
All of my ties that I wear are flowered ties.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? No, it's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing.
It's a great
I started it years ago, and it's amazing the number of people that will notice it.
Mm-hmm.
This tie was a gift this year from 3 ladies that we did a program at their place of business, and they saw me wearing a different flowered tie every day, and they gave me a flowered tie.
Now, tell me, Ramsey, as far as different trends and things or suggestions that you have for people in planning their weddings, maybe some things you have here in front of us as well.
Okay, these are hydrangeas and small baby calla lilies. And one of the things I want you to notice, this is a natural stem look, to where we take the individual flowers, work them together, and then tie them with a ribbon. And then it's a natural. They can stay in water up until the time of the wedding, and then after the wedding, they can go back in water.
Now, as far as this big centerpiece here is concerned, that would never be used for a bouquet, though. That's a little bit too wild.
No, this is for on a table at the reception. These are lilies, some bear grass, and curly willow coming up tall. And what this does is gets it up above where the people sit. So you can sit low, look across, and still see everyone at the table.
And we can talk. And Virginia Rakin is with us from Mert's Cakes. Quickly, Virginia, a couple of tips for people for wedding cakes.
Well, the main thing is start with plenty of time to spare, because wedding cake, the better bakers really get booked up in advance. And I think mainly you need to just concentrate on what you like and express yourself through a wedding cake.
I like your cake. That's the important thing. By the way, for more information, you can contact Mert's Cakes here. It's 244-8399, or Nans and Crafts Florist. Main number is 897-6551. Thanks again for your help, Virginia and Ramsey. I'm Joe Arnold for Good Morning Kentuckiana.
Folks out at Mert's Cakes, as well as Nans and Craft, who showed up for us.
They're getting
Are
married.
they getting married?
Happy-
Joe,
happy wedding.
congratulations.
See you tomorrow.